Wendy Cutler is Vice President at the US-based think tank, the Asia Society Policy Institute, and a former Assistant US Trade Representative.
The possible resolution of the TikTok issue is a welcome development. This has been an irritant in our relationship, and it's been going on for way too long. So I welcome that. However, I am struck by the fact that they had very little to say, both the Chinese and the U.S. delegation, about discussion on other topics. Because let's remember, there's so many different irritants and challenges in this relationship, and I would hope that we're also making progress on other areas as well.
The Chinese delegation highlighting American sanctions on Chinese entities, overstretching the concept of national security. They talked about unilateral bullying. Of course, we've seen 4 rounds of high-level talks. The US open to considering further tariff pauses, though, now, if the next stage of talks are positive. Do you think there are signs of the differences narrowing?
I think there are signs that both sides are positively engaging, but I'm not sure if real substantive progress is being made. USTR Greer clearly held out the possibility, and I think it's a very strong possibility, that the lower tariffs will be rolled over for another 90 days come November. But it's really those export control issues that are going to be a real challenge in the relationship, because China clearly wants the U.S. to hold back and lift some of these restrictions. And the United States, while it opened the door on a narrow amount of export controls a few months ago, seems very intent on not opening that door further.
Washington continues to tighten restrictions on semiconductors, while Beijing, of course, launched probes into US chips. We're hearing from Scott Bessent, the US Treasury Secretary, saying that the timing of this probe into NVIDIA was unhelpful. Are we witnessing the beginning of true tech decoupling, do you think, or is this just hard bargaining?
I think it's a combination of both. Look, both sides, China and the U.S., are looking, when it comes to high tech, to separate and not to integrate our markets. That said, we have a lot of trade and, a very robust trade relationship in other areas. So I would hope that we could find a way forward on those other areas. But, it's going to be tough. And both sides are talking more about stabilizing this relationship. And I think the Chinese delegation mentioned that word a number of times, versus improving it or strengthening it. So I think we're in a world where these meetings are going to be more about making sure things don't get worse, versus looking for a path forward to get on, a new track in bilateral economic relations.